does
Be
this
honest,
year.
for schedule, they didn't beat a top 25 team. That means they didn't even beat a 24th ranked team. They didn't beat no fucking body. What was the best win they had this year?
Trey, timeout. Have to now address Alabama's terrible losses to Vanderbilt and Oklahoma. Miami played a lot of close games against inferior competition, because I'm not saying that the ACC lower end teams can match up with the SEC lower end teams, but they still won.
Their best win was either Florida, Louisville, or Duke.
Okay, but that again goes back to exactly what I just said. They can't control that they're in the ACC.
Cinco squad up.
Squad up.
In the building. Episode 140. I got my guys with me. Mikey, the Michigan guy. Unfortunately, I let this guy back in the house. And Grandpa Jay. I'm just not even going to talk to John today. We're going to act like he's back on vacation again. He's somewhere with Sharon Moore. I don't even see this guy right now.
Is there actually somebody sitting between Mikey and I right now? Like, there's somebody actually between us?
There's a plant right now between
so
you and
see. Oh, I saw a plant too. I don't know if you were seeing somebody.
But no, in all seriousness, I will shout John's guys out. They did their thing. John, go ahead, take us away.
Yes. Go blue. I did not expect that at all. Congratulations, Sharon Moore. You're 2-0. 2-0 or 2-0, however you want to put it. It was a great win. I was at Miller's Ale House watching it with my family and Mike, and it was like, what team was this all freaking year? Like, where were you in the 5 losses that we've had all year? Like, it was just an incredible performance by the defense. And not to put salt in the wound, it was a kind of like confusing why Ryan Day was going. He was basically the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and not getting the same result. Because if you look at the game and you watch the game over again, which I did, you see that we have safety low the entire game. And you guys have one of the best receivers to go fast over the top and not going to get him. And I just didn't understand the game call. I mean, I didn't understand any of the game plan. I know you were saying the same thing. So I guess I'll throw it back to you in understanding, why weren't you guys utilizing what got you to where you were all year long? You went back to being a run-heavy offense instead of a throw-heavy offense, and it just didn't make any sense to me. You guys went away from everything that got you to 11 or 10-1 at the time. So I didn't understand that.
Well, styles make matchups, and Ryan Day decided that he was going to listen to the media, listen to everybody say, oh, you're not tough enough. You need to run the ball more, and that's what he decided to do. Was it a smart game plan? Absolutely not. You got Will Johnson out. That's one of your best corners in college football. Michigan's strength at this point is in the middle, and where does he decide to do? Run right up the middle. Ohio State's missing. Your starting center's out. So you put in the center who was the backup last year. You decide let's run behind him. Your left guard is probably a first, second rounder. You know what happens? He had to move to left tackle because the left tackle's out. You decide to run behind the backup guard. And you decide this is the route you're going to take when you do have 3 first-rounders outside. Even with your running backs, they're both good at getting outside if need be. So it was a stubborn play on Ryan Day. It's a good chance he cost himself the job. It probably will take winning a championship to save his job. And, I don't see that from him right now because he's probably going to be stubborn and get in his way. In the meantime, though, I have to ask, and I will throw this to Jay. You're one of those guys like to antagonize in rivalry games and shit like that. How do you feel about flag playing? We had a lot of that last weekend.
Look, man, the kids play with a lot of emotion. You can't tell the kids. And here's what we had this debate a long time ago on the show. Right? We talked about how much they try and take emotions out of sport. We talked about swimming being one of those sports that tries to cancel it completely. And now these kids can't really express themselves. I heard a lot of people talking this week about it's too much. What do you expect going to happen when you disrespect somebody else's field? It's not the first time we've seen this. It's not the first time we've seen players stomp on a logo or do something. When you have a heated rivalry, emotions are going to be super high. So there's 2 things you have to do. 1, you bulk up your security so there's double the amount of security on the field at the right moment. So if you have to direct people away because you see Stitch about to break off, you can have it direct right away. Or you have such a grave consequence that the teams don't even dare do it. For instance, you get disqualified from a bowl game. It's like, what did you just say? Yeah. If you're fighting on the field and it's that grave, you ain't playing in your bowl game. So guess what? You might be the first team ever to make the college football playoffs, and you're canceled. So if you make the punishment so egregious, people are like, the coaches are straight up, not only will you be done with this program, but nobody's going to recruit you for being such a dumbass. So your career is over. I don't know if you have to be that extreme. I think the players are smart enough to realize it doesn't have to get to the point where people's health are in jeopardy because, you're freaking trying to uppercut guys and knock them out. But emotions ride too high. Like, when we were 20 years old, we were ready to knock some heads off because we heard somebody say something they might not have said because we were a little bit too drunk or, whatever it might have been. 20-year-olds don't get it, bro. 20-year-olds are riding off emotions, right? And that's just how it's gonna be. So how do you stop this? I don't know.
Like
you don't stop it. That's the thing. It's like, I think it's just a bunch of copycats. This is the most flag stomping. Number one, you look like idiots when you're trying to put a flag. Yes, and I'm talking to my Michigan Wolverines. You look like idiots when you try to put a flag in a turf field. No, in a turf field. I don't give a shit if it's frozen. It's fucking turf. How the fuck do you put it in the turf? Like, you're not sticking it. Like, you're literally just doing this, and then it just drops. And so it's dumb. You're never going to take the emotion away. You got to remember, and I'll go back to Aziz Al-Shaair, who was suspended, and we're talking about adrenaline and fighting and everything, and he's suspended for 3 games and whatnot. You can't take the emotion out. You're never going to take the emotion. These guys are playing at a very high level. This is Division I college football. I say that because this is the highest of the high before the NFL. This is where these guys are playing at the testosterone is moving, everything is going, you're going at 100 miles an hour. You're not thinking straight. You're never going to think straight. And you're never going to have a consequence to make you think straight. You know why? That's why you have the coaching staff. Like my coach and your coach are just standing there with their thumb up their ass. Just sitting there like,
yeah.
Like, dumbasses, like, do something. I know you're upset, but do something. Like, that was the biggest thing with Ryan Day is like,
But was like, look, you guys, let's just leave it to be. I'm here to bring peace and love into the show right now.
Fuck peace and love. I love the animosity. Bring it on. The only thing I don't like is the storming the field. Like, get the field, like in a rivalry game, heated rivalry game, cut the storming of the field. Cut that completely out because
but
that is no. That's putting.
A player got pepper sprayed. A couple players got pepper sprayed, right? Because now it's out of hand.
But you got to
want it to be out of hand. Like,
but that wasn't. It had nothing to do with storming the field, though.
It did because at some point.
No, it did not.
At some point, they have to.
No one stormed the field.
Yeah, but here's what they fear. What they fear is that somebody's going to end up being caught in the middle that doesn't get caught in the middle. So we need to just dead this.
Right. They pepper sprayed the players on the field. There was no people from the stands on the field.
That's what I mean, and the players shouldn't be. But the problem is, it turns into a melee, and when it's a melee and it's a brawl, you don't know Jack from John. No, because
I blame more of the coaching staff. No, I don't. I blame more of the coaching staff. Like, you have a coaching staff of over 100 people. You're telling me you can't push these guys away? We've seen scrums before happen like this. We have seen scrums like this happen before where coaches end up getting in the middle and they start.
42-year-old, 160-pound.
Come on, bro. You see these coaches sometimes.
Come on, bro.
Come on, bro. Go home.
No.
All right. Go to bed. Time to go to sleep. You don't even. Come on, bro. Like, come. We've seen it many times where fights, and then all of a sudden you see the coaching staff, you see the entire staff get in the middle, and then they push it away. It can happen. I mean, I don't agree with the fact.
Not when it's two teams that hate each other. That's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a fight and there's the rivalry.
Look at the pepper spray. It's not like they fired a gun. They pepper sprayed, okay? And, like, it was mostly Michigan players that got hit with it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Ohio State got away scot-free in that aspect. So, they got to pay, what, a $265,000 fine, which is like –
2 pennies on the dollar.
Here's 2 people's tuition to the school.
Well, that's a couple people's NIL salary. Mike, if we were sitting here and let's say the Trojans go ahead and they put that flag in the middle of touchdown Jesus, how are you feeling?
I mean, I'm feeling upset, but I don't know. I would be more shocked if Notre Dame reacted that way, like started to actually fight them, because Notre Dame and not to say,
but the logo says
they're literally fighting.
They don't.
Enough of the holy Jesus shit. They'll fight them just as much as.
No, these days, a lot of the guys don't put the fight in Fighting Irish. It seems. I don't know.
Because they're number 4 team in the country.
I didn't say competitiveness. I meant, like, they're not going to, like, start throwing fists at USC.
Well, because the rivalry's not there at that point right now. That's what he means. Like, if the rivalry was at that heated point,
yeah, I'm saying like Reggie Bush,
We've seen it at that point.
No.
We've seen it at that point where they were fighting each other and shit. Like,
no, I mean, it might not be pepper spray. It might be holy water, but you know, it might be power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
How deep this was happening?
I'm not against the flag playing 100% because, you know, so it's two ways. Some people say, well, if you don't want to plant the flag, win. You're right. You win, they don't get to plant the flag. B,
True.
if they decide to plant the flag, then fuck it. I got the right to also knock you in the fucking mouth. That's the way I feel about this. Because the thing about this is, just because you win don't mean you get the right to do what you want to in somebody else's house. But that doesn't also mean I have the right to retaliate. I'll give you an example. If I had one of y'all over my house and we were playing spades or I don't know, Connect Four, whatever the fuck we were playing, and you just started talking shit and you won, and then I was like, hey bro, and then you were like, hey bro, I gotta take a shit. And I said, please use the master bathroom. You said, fuck the bath. I'm going to the master bathroom and I'm using the guest room. I had the ability to knock you in the fucking mouth. You also had the ability to say fuck you and keep doing this shit. So
Moral of the story: don't use Trey's master bathroom.
Yeah, John, don't use Trey's master bathroom when you visit in a couple weeks.
Remember that when you come visit in a couple weeks.
Or sleep on the couch.
Because you have the ability to do that. So I'm not necessarily.
You have a spare bathroom, John.
One of them is off limit.
Um,
No, so I'm not necessarily against it because this is what happens in rivalries. I remember years ago that asshole, the Baker man, putting the flag at Ohio State 50, and I still fucking hate that motherfucker today. Partly because I was sorry because we lost, and partly because I was tired of his smug ass, and that's what it was with him. But at the end of the day, I get it. It's a heated game. People are going to do this. People are going to fight. This is football. It's hard to tell these guys to turn this shit off. It just is.
Yeah, it's just like the whole like thing with the Jacksonville running linebacker. It's like everyone's like, he should have slowed down. It's like, dude, he's playing a competitive game when he sees a guy with a ball run and hit. He doesn't care if it's Trevor Lawrence or if it's freaking the running back. It's you go and you hit. And people don't understand that. And it's people like Paul Feinbaum that come in and have never played a down in their life, have never had a competitive nature in their body and say, oh, well, he should have done this. Well, maybe if you should actually be in that game.
Can you imagine Paul Feinbaum playing linebacker?
Oh,
yo, he would fly over guys. He'd be like,
and if he did hit anybody, he would just kind of like fold in half, I think. Like,
I don't mind. That ball head might have so much glare on it, he might blind you, and then you get the sack based on the fact you can't see him coming.
Maybe.
No, that sounds rough. But speaking of this, it's a big week, though. Got
Sure.
conference championship games. So we're going to figure out, we pretty much got a lot of the field set, but this is going to determine a lot of seed and a lot of bye weeks, things like that. So to kind of get started, let's look at the Big 12. We got Iowa State. We got Arizona State. Let's go round table. Mike, you go first. John, you go second. Jay, you go third. I'll go fourth. Let's get our scores, and then let's get a little bit of what's going on. So, Mike, just to start us off, what you got?
Arizona State 27, Iowa State 24.
Iowa State 35, Arizona State 21.
Arizona State is playing their best football right now. This offense is rolling. Arizona State will win this game 41-27.
Okay, I got Arizona State 38, Iowa State 31. Now, why do I, for me, have it this way? 2 words. Cam Scatterbo. That is an exciting guy to watch. I remember when they were playing USC last year, and the guy went out there, threw the ball like 3 or 4 times, caught a touchdown, ran a touchdown, and I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And ever since then, I've been watching Arizona State games because it's been enjoyable. So I like that. I like Sam Levitt at quarterback, and I just think those guys are going to put it together. I think that offense is going to have a hard time being stopped by Iowa State. So that's why, for me, I'm going to take Arizona State in this game. To basically put things together. John,
Howdy.
Your pick. Why did you make this decision?
I think Iowa State's playing this type of football that's going to be an upset football. I think the Big 12 is weird this year that we have. Hold on. I got an email. Maybe it's from Elisa. Fucking cunt. And yes, I'm going to put that in the show.
Yeah,
Iowa State's just playing good football right now. They're playing pretty good. And who's the coach over there at Iowa State? I forgot his name.
Matt Campbell.
Matt Campbell. That's it. I like the way he coaches. It's more of like one of those years where it's like Iowa State feels like the team to get in. It's like, okay, yeah, I can see them making some noise now. Arizona State's playing good football. I like their way they're moving the ball with their run game, throwing the ball over the top. I just like the Iowa State Cyclones in this game just because I feel like they just have this in them that they're going to upset them. So maybe that'd be my lock of the week is going to be Iowa upsetting Arizona State. Take screw Jumpin' Jays. It's John's locks of the week, baby.
Guys, make sure you pick on Iowa State, not Iowa.
Very big difference. If you say that out there, they'll probably want to fight you. You may get smacked with some corn or something.
Damn right. That's a rivalry.
Don't
be confused.
Jay, you went the opposite way. So I'm sure this might be one of your locks. Why did you pick Arizona State?
I don't think they can be stopped right now. I think when you look at a team who's clicking on all cylinders, not only are they playing with a ton of confidence, but people pick them to finish last. Talk about a chip on your shoulder going into a conference championship game. They're playing with house money, and they're playing their best football of the year. The offense has proven to me that it doesn't matter who's on the other side of the field. Whether it's Iowa, they put up a shitload of points on Iowa this year. We know that Iowa perennially has been a team that slows you down and should shut you down. And they ran through the conference. So they're the cream of the crop this year, and I'm going to give them their jacket, and I'm going to crown them champs just because of the eye test.
What's so ironic too is Oklahoma State was supposed to win that conference.
They didn't win a game.
They didn't win a fucking game.
They flip-flopped with each other.
Not even close. They basically went, Ollie Gordon's out. Okay, we're done.
Yeah, once season's over. Yeah, Mike, refresh me. Who'd you have again?
I had Arizona State.
Why you got Arizona State?
So, like to that point of like the Big 12 is weird this year. It's almost like the Big 12 throughout the season has been kind of just the leader is whoever has the hottest hand. And it just feels like Arizona State has the hottest hand in the conference right now at the right time. We always talk about how going into championship and playoff time, it's about playing your best ball. They seem to be playing their best ball. Iowa State, I think, is playing some of their best ball, but they seem to have had kind of a peaks and valleys season, whereas it's been a constant increase in success for Arizona State. They've looked better and better every week. So, yeah, I just think Arizona State continues that trend and wins.
And they both like playing with balls, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
They're both playing their best balls and
yes, exactly.
playing with their best balls today. So
they're playing with their best balls.
You got to have balls to win this conference championship. Huevos.
Speaking of huevos, the SEC. Some people would say it's the best conference.
Fuck that.
We got
Next.
Basketball.
I said some of the folks would say in the comments. Trust me, believe they'll probably some of us going to say SEC in the comments and all that type of shit. Anyways, we got Georgia, we got Texas. Let's go round table. Same order. Mike, take us. Who you got?
Hook 'em horns. Texas wins 38-28.
Georgia 42-7.
7?
Damn.
What a score. What a score. I'm not liking either one of these teams to go too far in the playoffs, but somebody has to win the SEC championship game. Both of these teams have done nothing but
somehow Bama will win the SEC.
Yeah, somehow Bama's going to still win the SEC championship game. Yeah. Somehow Bama's going to be celebrating with Bama.
We're going to see fucking Kalen DeBoer on the stage. Thank you, appreciate it.
I'll quit. If Bama somehow won the SEC championship without playing in it, I'd just quit college football.
As impressive as Georgia's comeback was, there was no reason for them to have to come back like that. And Texas's defense was very impressive, but none of them are showing me that they're a perennial offense that can run through any table or any playoff right now. So it really, to me, is going to be 1-24. So I'm going to take Georgia 24, Texas 17.
I got Georgia 31, Texas 27. Mike, you picked the Horns. Why did you pick the running Arch Mannings?
Because he's horny.
Well, future New York Giant quarterback Arch Manning is on the roster. However,
sorry.
However, no, I just am going with Texas because Georgia has been so Jekyll and Hyde this year as far as they've looked like they could beat Texas by that margin.
They did though.
Not by that margin.
They've been about 30.
They came back. It was 30-15 or something, wasn't it?
They closed it down. It was an ass kicking, and
it was an ass kicking.
It was an ass kicking. Sorry, go ahead.
No. It's because that's a good point. They've looked at times like the last time they played Texas, like they could absolutely do that to anybody they step on the field with. And then there's other games where they look like they can't do a goddamn thing. So it's not that I think that Texas is that much at this point that much better than Georgia. It's just I trust Texas more, I guess, if that makes sense, than I do. I trust Texas to come out and actually play a quality game versus a quality full 4 quarters versus Georgia, who I don't know what they're going to look like from quarter to quarter.
Texas just doesn't look like the team that they did in the beginning of the year.
They don't. No,
they have not played good football ever since Quinn Ewers went down with the injury and came back. He has not looked good. I feel like there's still such an identity issue at the quarterback position because so many people want Arch Manning to get the role, but so many people want, like, okay, Quinn Ewers has earned it, where it's more like, where do you lean?
Right.
So I don't know. I just don't see it. And I think Georgia going into an SEC championship game, they play a completely different game. You look at them the last few years, and you can't take Georgia Tech game. That's a rivalry game. Georgia Tech always plays Georgia at some point close in the rivalry. Georgia has not looked like Georgia football this year, but I best believe that Kirby Smart's going to get these boys ready for this week because I think it's a statement game for Georgia this week, and they want to make a statement that we are still the top dogs in this league, in this college football. So we're going to be the number 1 seed, and that's where I see Georgia going to after this week is the number 1 seed after they dominate Texas, because I don't see Texas having that identity issue, having that problem on defense. I still feel like, Trey, and you agree with me on Oklahoma and Texas still have that Big 12 run and gun offense type mentality where it's, can they slow down a high-powered offense? Can they
do you think Georgia is that good or Texas that bad? The reason I say because you have such a far gap compared to
I think Texas' defense is not that good. Okay. I don't think it's as good as you think it is. I think they played such cakewalk teams to start off the year. Once they got into SEC play, you saw the real defense come on. In a lot of the games, they were running gun offense. I don't know the scores off the top of my head. I'll pull them up here in a second while Jay goes. But a lot of times they were going run and gun offense, and that's a Big 12 scheme. I think they need to move into that defensive scheme, which Sarkisian can get to. But Georgia, I just think, got embarrassed against Georgia Tech going to 8 overtimes. Have been talked down to, and I think Kirby Smart's probably playing that game over and over again to the team. He's probably playing everything that people are saying about Georgia not being Georgia football, and it's just riling these guys up. And they're playing it at home. They're playing it at home in Atlanta. I mean, that's going to be
always the advantage.
It's always the advantage when you have them there. And I think they want to make a statement because all year you've heard Georgia, Georgia's not the same. Georgia's not the same. This will put them in a position in the driver's seat to say, no, we still run this house.
But,
welcome to the SEC, but we run this bitch.
You're right. Like, identity crisis goes both ways because when have we seen Georgia not be able to take care of the ball like this? Like, Becca's turned into an absolute turnover machine. And you would have thought that Kirby would have done something to not put him in that position, meaning I'm not going to have you drop back as many times in this game. We're going to be a more balanced offense. They don't have the quality that they have in the backfield in past years. So you can't just turn to that as an opportunity as, well, we'll be just as good and we'll control the game on the ground because they can. Yeah. So you got to rely on Beck. So Georgia's in a bit of an identity crisis where they used to be more balanced in the past years. They're not anymore. And Beck hasn't done anything to show me that he'll all of a sudden just take care of the ball, especially when the lights are the brightest. And to quote Mikey's guy, Bill Parcells, on the other side of the ball, when you got 2 quarterbacks, you got none. And that's Texas's issue right now. Whereas some of the team probably knows that we can win with Arch, and maybe they think they can make a deeper run with Arch. But how are you going to bench? How are you going to just tell Quinn you're out? You can't. Like, you've given him the starter job. Sarkisian knows he has to stick with him. But it really hasn't shown me that that's the guy that's going to win you a national championship. And if I was him, I'd roll the dice and be like, fuck it, let's see if Arch can do it for us because
There's going to come a time in this playoff, regardless, where
only if he gets hurt.
No. There's going to be a time. No, there's going to be a time in this playoff where we're going to see, and you're going to hear it all throughout, where you're going to see a Tua Tagovailoa type takeover in the game for Jalen Hurts. You're going to see it happening with Arch Manning coming in for Quinn Ewers because Texas is going to get down in the college football playoff at some point. And they're going to have to make some sort of change. And then Arch Manning's going to lead the charge back to to lead Texas back to a win in one game.
Mikey, so if the glove does not hit,
you must equit.
That's right.
I don't know. For me, I was really split on this one probably more than anyone because
that means wrong quarterback, new one.
So Georgia's basically home. I mean, that's always the advantage. That makes it hard. I've also watched Georgia walk into their house and beat their ass. So, but then I wonder, does Shark figure out a way to make Texas necessarily hungry because, hey, we got our ass embarrassed on a Saturday night at home with all eyes on us. So that's where it kind of gets split. The Georgia receivers seem not to be able to catch the damn ball. Ultimately, I went with Georgia just because I feel like they've been here, and I'm going to go with the more trusted team because I feel like if shit gets tough, I'm going to trust Kirby to maybe get them together. I wouldn't be shocked either way, but I guess for me, that was why I ended up picking Georgia. I'm not going to say that with this game I had conviction on either side because both teams have had their shaky moments at times. But at the same time, what I will say with Georgia is Georgia had a tougher schedule. Some of this shit was scheduling and made Georgia at times have laps. I mean, they just got done with that Georgia Tech 8 overtime game, but hey, I mean, shit happens. You get in your rivalry game, and sometimes you end up in these type of, fights like that. A lot of those guys at Georgia Tech, the reason they're at Georgia Tech is because Georgia didn't offer them, not because they wanted to be there. No offense to Georgia Tech, but that's when you get guys who go out the way to bust ass. So, in the end, I'm going to ride with Georgia for that, but I think it's going to be a good game. I mean, I guess the rest of us think so, except for John. John's basically, for everybody at home, if you're busy at 4 o'clock Eastern, that's a good time to maybe go get some snacks, go with the family.
Go get your nap in. Go get your nap in like I did against the Dallas and Giants game last week.
Yeah, get your nap in because at 8 o'clock we got the Big Ten game. So in the Big Ten game, we got Penn State, we got Oregon. And for me, I think probably what John thought in the other game. But Mike, what you got here?
Penn State 28, Oregon 17.
I'm sorry. Oregon 49, Penn State 3.
You just throwing those numbers out there, right? Penn State's defense will not give up 49 points, but their offense cannot score 20. So Oregon 27. Actually, let's flip that up. I'll say Oregon pushes to 31. Oregon 31, Penn State 14.
I got Oregon 34, Penn State 16 is what I'm going with. Penn State reminds me of. Penn State kind of reminds me of, say, watching the New York Giants. You got this shaky quarterback, and this is where I get kind of shaky. I feel like Mike you probably have some good analysis on this game because you used to watch the shaky quarterback play. Why do you feel this game plays out this way, Mike?
Well, first of all, I felt like that was unnecessary.
You're wearing the Giants.
I feel like you went out of your way.
I know I'm wearing the stuff. I'm just wearing the stuff because it's different than other weeks. I like to mix things up. But why is it always? I get it. We suck. And we cut that. By the way, we cut that quarterback, so he's no longer that quarterback.
You don't have a quarterback.
No.
Right now, it's all three of them playing rock, paper, scissors to see who. Yeah. All right, Tim Boyle, you're in.
Drew Lock, by the way, was recently named starter against the Saints this week.
As it should be.
What a game.
Yeah. It's gonna be a phenomenal game. Anyway, so breaking down this game. This is the game that I just have one of those funny feelings is going to be more competitive than you'd think it would be, and then all of a sudden it's a surprise upset at the end. Not to say that Oregon is not a capable team and that they're not as good as Penn State. I just feel like this is like a trap game conference championship where they're just going to get caught.
Nah, Oregon got embarrassed last year twice against their rival in Washington. And this is their first year. You saw them crush that Washington helmet in the locker room. What? They got embarrassed. But they got embarrassed by both times by losing. Yeah, so that's embarrassing to them because they were the better team, apparently, going into that game. They were the high favorite. Yeah. They got embarrassed. So regardless of that, I think they're trying to make a statement that we're the team of the Big Ten right now. We run this show right now. And they've been playing great football. I mean, they've been clicking on all cylinders. Dylan Gabriel's just having fun back there. It looks like he back in the UCF days where he was just throwing the ball and just kind of finding his guys and just loosely. Penn State, you know what this game reminds me of is the Oklahoma-Michigan State game in the college football playoff where Oklahoma routed Michigan State. Or was it Alabama? I think it was
It was Alabama.
Alabama, and Alabama routed Michigan State after Michigan State may have made a chance to. Penn State doesn't have a chance in this game, and it's because they don't have an offense. And when you don't get an offense going, I don't think Penn State's defense is that good, anyways. I think that when they start going over the top, it opens up the middle of the field. It'll just be basically a snooze fest on Saturday from 4 to probably midnight.
Well, according to you, clearly. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The reason I spread it the way I did by about 20 points almost because at the end of the day, I'm not fucking trusting Drew Aller. I don't get the hype behind Drew Aller. Never have. I feel like he's famous because he's a Penn State quarterback, and that's all fine. I don't see any difference between him. What was the other guy? Trace McSorley.
I was going to say
Christian Hackenberg, or any of these other Penn State quarterbacks. I just don't see it. You know what else is the common denominator here? James Franklin. Big game.
James Franklin. That's all I was about to say.
Big game, James Franklin. He's the anti-big game because when a big game comes, James Franklin's going to do what James Franklin does. James Franklin reminds me of the Clippers. He reminds me of these certain people that they just do not get it done when it comes down to it. So there's no way in hell I'm going to trust James Franklin to go out here, get to Indianapolis, and get this shit done. Simple as that.
And let's look on the opposite side where Dan Lanning has done exactly what he wanted to see this year, which is, are we looking like the team we want to be going into the college football playoff? So shaky game against Boise State, right? A couple shaky first halves until they took care of a couple games in Big Ten conference play. But last 4 games, Oregon's taking care of business. There'd been zero doubt that anybody else on the opposite side of the field can compete with them. And he wanted to close the season like this. Yeah. Because now his guys are playing with that chip on their shoulder where you can't compete with us. And that's what he did with Georgia and that defense. And that's what we're seeing out of Oregon in this defense right now. And jump high, jump low. We could talk all about star players or whatever it is. The teams that have won and made deep runs in the playoffs, other than Washington last year, have been sound defensively.
Well, Washington was a sound defensively team. They lost a few key guys going into the national championship game. They had a great
defensive players, but it's not like that defense was the reason why they were winning ball games.
Yeah, I mean, you have Penix in there, but that's what I meant by Oregon's playing. And you know what the other thing is? No one's talking about Oregon. Not one. And they're the number 2 team in the country. Number 2 team in the country.
Number 1.
Oh, they're number 1?
Oh,
that's my point. That's my point. Yeah. That's my point. They've been 1 forever.
I thought they were talking about a fucking 9-3 Bama team nonstop. Jesus.
Oh my God! Thank God we didn't have to talk about them in the SEC championship game. All right, Trey. What's the next game?
Yeah. Speaking of teams falling off, we got the Clemson Tigers. Maybe not a fall off. They're in the ACC championship, and we got that's John's Clemson Tigers, by the way, and we got the SMU Stanks. Mike, take us away.
Mustangs.
Yeah, Stanks.
Oh. Yeah. I didn't know if you didn't remember their name because I didn't remember it first. I had to look it up before the show.
Ironically, I went to a high school where our mascot was the Mustangs. We would stink, so I'm used to it. Yeah.
I had to look it up before the show. I was like, what's their nickname?
Their logo is very similar.
I thought they were the Humble Ponies.
Oh, nice.
That's why I remember the Pony Express. That was the 30 for 30. Good 30 for 30. Anybody who has never checked that one out. Mike, prediction.
SMU 31, Clemson 10.
Clemson 35, SMU 28.
Eight there. SMU 30, Clemson 20.
Okay, I got SMU 29, Clemson 23. Jay, I need an explanation. I think we're kind of reading the same thing, but why are you reading it that way?
Well, you can't back your way into a conference championship game and expect me to pick you. Like, they come off a loss, even though South Carolina is one of the hottest teams in the country. I think South Carolina could have probably beaten anybody in the last 2 weeks, to be honest, maybe other than Oregon. So it's not unfair to Clemson that they played a bad game. They just ran into a team that had a lot more confidence. And, I mean, you know, we've said it all along, right? It kind of seems like Clemson's time has come and gone a long time ago for them to be in the CFP and be a significant team in the CFP. And, you know, SMU's boosters have been trying for 10 years to rebuild this program. And when the iron is hot, it's time to strike. And these boys are playing with so much confidence. The offense is humming. I don't see – they didn't lose a game this year in the conference. I believe they went unbeaten in the conference. So, once again, you have a team coming in, rolling. This train is just unstoppable right now. And if these boys end up losing this game, I will come on and I will do my own little 1 minute apology to Dabo and the Clemson Tigers, but I don't see it happening. SMU all the way in this game.
So that's a lot. So we need
lock,
a bookmark.
Lock it in. SMU to cover.
Okay, Mike. You said Clemson, right? You picked your boy.
No,
Dabo?
I picked Clemson.
This guy.
Only you picked Clemson. Okay. I forgot John. I'm sorry. As I said, John's Clemson Tigers. You know, he did a lot of great Clemson content for us this year. Why did you pick the Clemson Tigers to go ahead and come through here?
Dabo has been in this game many times. He knows how to win this game. He's been in big moments. As much as we shit on Dabo, I mean, he's gotten the job done, right? And he's gotten the job done at a big stage. He's been in big moments. He knows how to coach his guys. I don't trust Klubnik. I just kind of trust that defense. But Klubnik hasn't looked terrible over the last 4 weeks. I'm not saying he looks like he's ready to go to the NFL, but he hasn't looked terrible, right? So I'm looking at him. I watched the game against South Carolina. Even though they lost, he didn't look bad. I mean, obviously they played Citadel. They played a couple other cupcake games. They beat Pittsburgh, so they're playing good football right now. And I think with a Dabo Swinney team who's been here, good defense, this could get them rolling, and SMU could face some troubles on the road in a big moment to make themselves known in the college football playoff landscape, where I think Clemson is like, hey, if we win this game, they're in the mentality of that, Cinderella team, where you think about a team, and I'm going to go back to my hometown, Syracuse, when they got in the NCAA tournament, every year, and I'd be like, oh, they're not going to do anything. And also now they're in the Final Four against North Carolina or Michigan. It's like, holy shit, right? It's like, how'd they get here? And all you have to do is get them in. So I think Clemson's in that type of mindset where they get themselves into the playoff, and once you're in, you're in. You're 0-0 at that point, man. Like, it's time to go. So you got to play with that mentality. And I think he can adopt that mentality.
Yeah, I don't believe in Klubnik. At the end of the day, I'm just not. I'm not trusting him. I'm not saying Kevin Jennings is, the best thing since sliced bread or anything like that. But I got a gut feeling that they're going to use his legs a little more. You kind of saw that a couple of the SMU games. And I just feel like, you said Cinderella, I feel like they're more of the Cinderella team. Where they're playing, even though this isn't a Clemson team of past, that's still Goliath, they're still David. Nobody expected SMU to be here. Clemson's supposed to be the one with the superstar coach and all those type of things. I just think SMU, they're due to take them out this year. So for me, not trusting Dabo, not trusting Cade Klubnik, Mike's not trusting him, and Mike tells why he's not trusting their asses.
But while Mike goes, let's remember they're a 3-point game away from being undefeated this year. They lost 18-15 to BYU.
Who? Yep.
SMU. They're 3 points away from being 12-0 this year.
Yeah.
Or 4.
Yeah. But here's the real question. If SMU does lose, are they out?
Well, Mike, tell us why SMU, and do you think they're out if they lose?
Out of the playoff.
Well, Mike already said SMU is not losing, so why are they winning?
So, yeah, I think it's trust issues with Clemson. I think they've been inconsistent and are inconsistent this year enough that a hungry SMU team is going to be able to take advantage of the opportunities they're given. They don't get this that often, so I think they're going to take full advantage of the opportunity they've had, especially in their first year in the ACC. So I just think SMU is going to take control of the game by kind of being able to exploit Clemson's mistakes, Klubnik's mistakes, maybe even Dabo's mistakes if he makes one. Are they out if they lose? Unfortunately, yes. I don't think they should be, but I think based on the kind of perception of the ACC this year, where also we've taken out the team that seemed to be the best team in the ACC for all but 2 weeks of the season.
No, this week.
Yeah.
This is the only week that they're not in the...
I'm saying, they looked like they were the best team in the ACC.
They were the highest ranked ACC team until this week.
Right.
They were top 10 for the entire year. But here's the argument, though. If Miami's sitting at 12, you're going to have Ole Miss jump? Because basically you're saying that you're penalizing the ACC. So Miami's sitting at 12, so by their ranking, they should be next in or first out to next in. So Ole Miss just jumps Miami because we're discrediting the ACC with the SMU loss?
There's a lot of factors.
Before the season started, didn't we say, I feel like we had to talk, I think with Herbert Roger on the show, we were talking about would it be more than one ACC team and all those sort of things. It's looking like it might only be one, maybe two if they get lucky in this scenario. I know John has a lot of thoughts on this. Who do you feel like is going to get left out that shouldn't be, or who is going to get in that shouldn't be?
I think the playoff is set right now. Other than the games that flip flop, like the conference championships.
Do you believe this is right? Like, if there's nobody that should be in,
I don't think it's right. I don't think Alabama should be in the playoff. They've shown inconsistency all year. They have shown no fight when they lose. They show no real fight when they win, because you saw that dominant performance they had against Georgia, and then they let Georgia get back in the game, and they won off of them being
off of a freshman's freaking unbelievable.
Yeah. So like, I don't even consider Bama a playoff team right now.
Who are you putting in Alabama's place?
Miami, 100% of the time. I mean, I've watched this team play. I've watched them fight out of games. I watched them play at a high level, dig themselves out of close matchups. I've watched them. I mean, you got a guy that's going to be potentially the Heisman finalist in New York, and how do you not put him in there with one of the best teams? I mean, this Miami team is obviously screw Reese Davis for calling Georgia Tech and Syracuse mediocre teams, because Syracuse was 3-1 against ranked opponents, and screw the mentality of they weren't ranked now.
So what was Miami's record against ranked opponents? Currently ranked, not ranked at the day of the game.
4-2.
No, it was not. They did not beat a ranked team this year that's currently ranked.
That's currently
ranked. Because see, the thing is, where people got.
So I disagree with that mentality though, because like
they beat Florida State. Florida State was ranked then, and then y'all think Florida State's for dog shit now. So I'm not going to give them credit for beating Florida State when Florida State wasn't shit. That's why I say ranked currently. The Miami didn't beat a currently ranked team. So I have a hard time for people trying to toss Alabama out for the team that has the 55th was toughest strength of schedule in Miami this year. Alabama had the 17th toughest ranked schedule. So they actually played real teams. I'm not even trying to say, let's say Georgia Tech and Syracuse. You're right. I'll give them credit. But you know what they did? They lost to the two teams that you just keep credit. You're giving them credit for losing to those two teams and not beating anybody. Alabama had the 17th ranked schedule. They also are 3-1 versus teams that are currently ranked top 25 as we're headed to the playoff. Whereas Miami has nobody. They didn't beat no fucking body. The only two teams that you told me they played were for damn they lost to. So, yes, I was very much a Cam Ward proponent, and that's great. But just because he's great doesn't mean the team's in. Because we saw this last year with, what was the old boy in Florida State? Where they took him out and they said, well, actually, the team's not that good. I can say the same to Miami. What's the difference between them?
But, Trey, time out. We have to now address Alabama's terrible losses to Vanderbilt and Oklahoma, who respectively finished 13th and 14th out of 16 teams in the SEC. So why aren't we addressing the fact that when Bama were heavy favorites, not only did they fail, they fell flat on their face in those games. It wasn't even like they had a chance to win. Miami played a lot of close games against inferior competition, because I'm not saying that the ACC lower end teams can match up with the SEC lower end teams, but they still won. Their losses, hold on. Their losses are to teams that have proven that their program's on the up, and they upset a lot of teams this year. Yes, Vandy upset a couple of teams.
You're talking about the up. We're talking about the now. I'm not projecting for the future. What I said was the 55th hardest schedule in the conference. If you give Alabama that schedule,
but they can't control that, bro.
You can't control that.
Bias.
That's it. You can't control that.
Even if 9 teams in the SEC suck, they're still going to end up having a highest schedule. But it doesn't fluctuate. It stays as it is from the beginning of the year.
In one credit, you're saying Georgia Tech's on the up, and then you say you discredit them for having a close game with Georgia, but Alabama beat Georgia. That still happened. That did happen. They beat.
I get what you're saying. So, like, when they're underdog, hold on. Let me fucking talk. So basically, you're saying is Alabama, and when they're the underdog, they're playing good games, which they will be the underdog the entire playoff, pretty much, because they'll probably be the 12th seed. And when they play as the underdog, that's when they play up. I get the underdog mentality in that sense because of Alabama. I'm just saying that you can't. When I look at the strength of schedule, Miami can't control what the ACC does this year.
They didn't beat a top 25 team. That means they didn't beat a 24th ranked team. They didn't beat no fucking body. What was the best win they had this year? Please, somebody read it for me.
I don't have the schedule in front of me.
Probably Louisville. Louisville.
I got it for you. Their best win was either Florida, Louisville, or Duke.
Louisville.
That's nowhere near as good.
Louisville was 26 and Duke was 28.
Okay, but that again goes back to exactly what I just said. They can't control that they're in the ACC. They can't control that unless they get bought out for $500 million. You're doing something that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, bro.
Because they did lose to a ranked ACC team. They could control playing your Syracuse Orange, and they couldn't beat them.
Correct.
And they did play a ranked team. They didn't beat them. They do have control of the schedule. Beat the two good teams you played. Georgia Tech and Orange. They didn't beat them. So stop trying to get them credit and trying to discredit team and sign their schedule who they play.
The thing is, I don't agree with is the fact. Hold on, let me make my point that I was trying to make earlier. Is I don't get the fact that we're discrediting when the team is ranked at the time. Like, I don't understand why that's not a thing. Why is that not a thing? I don't understand. They're ranked at that time. It doesn't matter how they finish the end of the year. It does not matter how because you don't play them at the end of the year. You play them at that time. You play them at that time. You're playing them at that time ranked. Doesn't matter how they finish.
Do not matter.
Yes, it does.
Okay, then why are you caring about a Florida State victory when Florida State preseason ranking was clearly wrong? These are your words. You have told me this many times.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so don't give them credit for being number 10 Florida State.
I have said many times that the rankings at the times.
Then the preseason rankings matter. They do matter then. They do matter.
What?
That's what you just told me.
No, not the preseason rankings. I never said that.
Why would Florida
I'm not saying the preseason ranking. I'm saying when they're ranked right then and there. You can't control what happens at the end of the season. You can't control a team going out and losing the rest of the year.
Give them credit. I watched the video today with a certain person who said they beat a number 10 Florida State. Wasn't me. It wasn't Jay. It wasn't Mike. You tried to credit them for being a number 10 team that never deserved to be there because of preseason rankings. Who on this show more than anybody talked about preseason rankings of bullshit? You. And now you're using that argument.
I didn't use preseason ranking. I just said they beat number 10. That's a factual statement. At the time, what ranking was Florida State, Trey? What ranking was Florida State? 10. At the time, it doesn't matter. I don't care about the preseason ranking. I still hold on that thought. I don't care about the preseason ranking. I'm just going off the facts, bro. Like, you're just not listening to that. That's the problem. You're just saying, oh, you're going off it. They beat a ranked team at the time. That is the goal.
Florida State was a good team. Florida State was a good team. Florida State was a good team. We solved the puzzle. Florida State was a good team.
Listen, here's how we put this to rest really easy, right? It's very simple. And this is how simple it is. It's as simple as this, and we all know it, right? There's going to be a lot less people that give a fuck about Indiana, Miami, and there's going to be a whole lot of people from the state of Alabama that give every fuck about Alabama, Indiana. And that's what it is. And both teams should be out. Both teams should be out. South Carolina playing better than both of them right now. South Carolina playing much better football than both of them. South Carolina's beaten more ranked teams recently than both of them. If you're talking about most recent resume, what have you done for me now? South Carolina should be in over both of those teams.
If we're going recent, yeah, because recently what I saw was Miami look like shit. I see Alabama look like shit. If we're going to recent, I mean, that's already an issue inherently with a 12-team playoff, because once you put a 12-team playoff, yeah, you're going to have these lapses, which is why I know me personally never was big for it, because now we had the argument of semantics. What did we say? I think all four of us said this on the show. We'll get to the point we're going to be arguing about the number 12 team or number 13 team should they be in, when it's like none of these teams are that good. Because right now we're arguing about a 3-loss team.
I think that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing too, right? Like, where does it end? Like, now we're going to go to fucking 16? Are we going to go to 20? Are we going to go 64? Like, it don't fucking matter what it don't fucking matter, because like any of these teams are going to get fucking blown out in the first round anyway, so it don't fucking matter.
And I will apologize to John. Ironically, this is the guy who said we'll have a 3-loss team, and unfortunately it's Alabama.
I knew it was going to be Alabama. At some point, I knew Alabama was going to get in the playoff. I mean, whether we think it's right or wrong, they're going to get in. I mean, that's and Warren Manuel even came out and said, and that was my whole point about my video earlier, is the fact that he just said that the rankings are set. Nothing is moving from 6 to 12. So it doesn't matter who wins or
really most of them aren't playing.
Exactly. There's no points.
But that's the other inherent problem with the 12, which is why it should have always been the conference championship was basically the first round of playoffs, not we had these extra teams, because now all these teams are basically taking a bye week. So, I mean, you've got your Ohio States of the world are taking a bye week. Alabama, this is the bye week. Everybody else is fighting for a bye week. The teams that aren't in are currently on a bye week. I mean,
yeah, it's weird like that.
And it's weird like that. So, I mean, I look at this. The other week we're watching Georgia. They're at 8 overtimes. And at some point, I'm thinking in my head, maybe Georgia just lay down, just go ahead, take this loss, and they take a bye.
I would.
But then I'm also thinking, why in the fuck are we at 8 overtimes? Mike, How do you feel about the damn overtime system of college football? Do you like it? Would you change anything?
I mean, I like the first 2 overtimes. Those are fun. But then, and this is someone, believe me, and I compared it to this, and I actually enjoy this in hockey, but it's like the shootout in the NHL.
I hate that.
Which is it takes a lot of what makes college football fun out of college football, because it's not a drive, it's one play, or maybe 2 if there's a flag. But I get what they're trying to do. I get they're trying to speed up the game, but I think honestly we'd get less overtimes if you made them continue to actually have to run multiple plays in a drive,
like they used to.
Right, like they used to, because we got to 8 overtimes in 5 minutes because you either made the 2-point or you didn't. So I would rather they go back to the old style and understand that it's football. If your concern is the potential injuries, see, Bubba agreed. If your concern is potential injuries, so you're lessening the plays, if that's the kind of route you want to take for the reasoning, it's football. These guys know what we've saw. How many different topics have we had where it's come back to it's football? They know what they signed up for. They want to do this, so just let them continue to play. So go back to the old way. That's
if anything, it makes these teams look incompetent how to do a 2-point.
Exactly.
2-point conversion.
Exactly.
It's like how the fuck do you not?
Most teams really only keep about 4 to 5 2-point plays
a year.
Well, that's what they were saying on the broadcast.
They basically met that they hit that max in one game.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so it gets tricky to do that. Jay, you always have these wonky ideas, and I feel like you're gonna have some crazy idea of how we need
let them swing from the mountains of Georgia into the stadium and get themselves a 2-point conversion that way.
So do you like OT, or would you switch something about college OT?
What? I'll put this to you guys. Who feels satisfied when 2 teams tie? No, like you don't even want to talk about the game because you're supposed to say this team did this to win. So great job, guys. Like, yeah, we tied. So the tie destroys an argument to if you're trying to debate who should be in, and now you have a team with a tie. How do you determine that? So there has to be a winner because a lot of college offenses are a little bit inept in times. You're not going to get that unless you have this system. What I would propose is just shorten the length of overtime. So if injuries are the concern, don't make it a full quarter. Make it half of a quarter. And if at the end of that, whatever it is, 6 minutes, or you're make it 7.5, 8 minutes, I don't care where it starts. If at the end of that, you're still tied, then go to the 2-point conversions because at that point, you have to declare a winner. But don't just rush to it like Mikey said. Have them actually play. Look, you're playing. You can get the ball twice. If you go 3 and out and then your defense plays well and you get them to go 3 and out, you get the ball back. And if you play well for field position, that might be how you win the game because at that point, it's whoever scores next wins. I don't see why you just don't keep it the same as the NFL, but shrink the overtime so they're not playing for as long if that's what you're fearing, and it still keeps the integrity of the game, which is the teams have multiple chances to win as opposed to, just fucking sling it from the 15 a couple times and hopefully we'll score. And look, there is a bit of excitement with the 2-point conversions, at least from my end, because we don't get to see it that often. It's like, all right, coaches in your trick plays. Let's see who has the most up your sleeve right now. And the more creative you can get, the better. So I kind of like the ending that way, but I'd much rather it end in the overtime time frame because I'm a big soccer guy. You guys know that. I freaking hate when big tournaments go to penalties. Like, the worst fucking thing is to have like a European Championship or a World Cup decided by penalties. To me, that's almost cheating the fans out of it. Yes, there's excitement to it, but we have to find a way to settle it on the field. And if you can't, shit, I don't know. Yeah, fucking chug contest. Who knows what the hell you can go. Bring fans out of the stands. Best freaking wet t-shirt contest. Whichever girl make the most noise for, your team won. You better invite the big titty girls out there because, that's going to end up determining the game. Yeah, boy.
Why are you pointing to me? No, I'm not pointing.
Bitch.
I'm pointing.
Fuck you.
No, I'm pointing. Jay, you might be onto something.
That might be onto something, right?
You might be onto something.
No, I mean, look, at the end of the day, they need to make it. So there's a big gripe in the NFL is that the Super Bowl overtime is completely different than any other overtime in the playoffs and the regular season. Make it all the same. Make it all the same. It should be a whole quarter. Play another quarter. It should be like the NHL playoffs. Play another period. Just play a whole another quarter. Like, that's what you play football for. Like, they have it at the 25. That's okay for me. Like, I'm okay with that because these guys, this is the college football. So, I mean, at the end of the day, they're not the best of the best. I mean, they are, but they're not, right? We have always said the best worst NFL team, which is the New York Giants, could dominate the best. I don't. Okay, the Jacksonville Jaguars could, but sorry, I had to do that. No, I just say get rid of the whole like the 25-yard line, get rid of the 2-point conversion. It's dumb. It's not fair to the teams because you play such a hard game for 60 minutes, and then all of a sudden you go to an overtime, and it's like you have one. What if a ball is tipped up in the air and all of a sudden it catches? It's like, really? That's how I lose the game on a 2-point. So I don't know. I don't agree with the fact that the overtimes, it happens, but I mean, what are you going to do? It wasn't 8 overtimes in my opinion. It was not 8 overtimes. It was
6 2-point.
Yeah, it was 6 2-point attempts.
Two overtimes and
like, that's not an overtime. One play is not an overtime for me. I mean, it could be, right? If you throw a deep ball and all of a sudden
a touchdown.
But like that's
still different.
Rare.
Trady, somehow I think you're kind of liking this system. Tell me why.
No, actually, I don't like the 2-point. We just do. For me, I was okay with the 25-yard line, but my suggestion years ago has always been, I thought overtime you should, in college, start them at the 50, and then they play from there. And it's similar to you go from the 50, you go in. The reason I like the 50 because you still have to at least fight to get in field goal range, and then you're looking at college where it ain't guaranteed a guy can make it 45 yards. I mean, shit, Justin Tucker can't even make a 40-yard field goal in the professional NFL right now. So if you got to go from the 50, at least give the defense a shot of hope because they have room to make a mistake if need be, but also put the offense where we're not going the entire field. We still get some offensive plays. So for me, I would start at the 50 and just keep going back and forth. Now, at a certain point, maybe once we get to overtime 2 or 3, I would still go back to the 50, but similar to the old way they did, instead of kicking extra points, I would then have you go for 2, and then we go back to the 50 again. I would just keep doing like that. And I don't think if you do that, some of these teams are going to have to make a decision. Do I trust my kicker for 47 yards? Do I want to go ahead and go for a 4th and 2 from back here? And I think that actually puts a certain amount of strategy back into it instead of just saying, okay, well, it's just 2 yards. Let's just do this. Because, I mean, I can imagine if we were watching NFL and you had like Mahomes, let's say, and a prime Aaron Rodgers, and they were going back and forth. We'd be out here all fucking day trying to do this shit. I can just imagine us sitting there and we're like, all right, live from Lambeau Field, here's the 40th 2-point conversion. I'm like, what the fuck? We don't really.
Especially with Andy Reid's 200-page freaking playbook, which he has. Like, he has plays for years to come. He still hasn't run. We're gonna see a play this year where we'll be like, damn, I didn't realize we could do that in football.
Exactly. And Andy Reid has 20 variations off of that play. And then you take a guy like a prime Aaron Rodgers in his prime when he has like a Devontae Adams, and it's like, just keep running slants. Nobody's going to stop him from doing that shit. Now you got this guy with his fucking cheese head on, and he's been sitting there for 20 fucking hours drunk, fucking throwing shit because now he's fucking bored because he's tired of watching the same 2-point conversions. I know I was talking to Mike earlier. He was saying he had something on his mind. And it was something about Lambeau Field and cheeseheads. But what's on your mind this week, Mike?
So we talk about Lambeau Field, we talk about cheeseheads, and let's face it, Green Bay, Wisconsin, around this time of year is a very cold place. They call it the frozen tundra for a reason. And lake effect snow, heavy winds, all that make it a very tough place. But it always seems like they're not having an issue with getting the field ready to play. Well, there's a reason for that. Turns out it's because they have 30 miles of pipe underneath the field. Pipe. Laying it down. All right. Turns out they have 30 miles of heating pipe underneath the field that heats the entire field and keeps it from freezing or becoming like too snowy. What people don't realize, I think, is that system has been in place since 1997, and the field has been heated since 1967 when Vince Lombardi had heating coils planted underneath the turf to keep it warm. Now, football historians may point out, how is that possible? The Ice Bowl, the famous Ice Bowl at Lambeau Field, happened in 1967, and Lombardi supposedly had the coils put in before the season. Well, it turns out on that particular day, the coils actually malfunctioned and did not heat the field, and therefore the turf and grass actually froze over, thus creating the ice bowl.
Damn. So if they just would have paid attention, then we wouldn't have actually had a damn ice bowl. It sounds like somebody really botched that job.
It's just amazing to me that they don't even have that in normal fields. Like when you think of in just all
Like
northern
Buffalo
fields,
last
like
week,
how do you
yeah.
not have that technology?
Chicago.
You have the oldest stadium in football, and that they have it. But all these brand new stadiums don't think of, oh, let me put some heating pipe underneath this field. Like I hope the new Bill Stadium that they're building are going to be able to do that. Or do they like playing it?
I think they want. I think they want.
I think they
Well, it's
want
melting.
it. Josh
And
Allen's
they
big
put
ass
drainage
out
in
there.
there so the water drains out.
I think they want the snow in Buffalo.
Yeah, with Josh Allen's big ass out there, I think they were like.
As a businessman, I think that's the dumbest thing to have an outdoor stadium in Buffalo. Like you were missing out on so much money and so much opportunity.
I mean, yeah, from the financial perspective, it's bad. I think they're looking more like the strategy now. We got this big behemoth of a beast in Josh Allen, and we have an advantage because most people can't come in here and play in the snow like that. So I think that's why they're in their mind like, hey, we'll just keep doing it. This is real football. But I agree. I think to me, if I'm like in Buffalo or Cleveland, they're actually fighting to put a dome up right now. The city of Cleveland is actually trying to sue because they're trying to move to one of the suburbs and put a dome up. The city of Cleveland is trying to sue the Browns right now because they don't want them to move out of downtown, but the city won't build a dome. And these people outside the burbs say, we will pay for this dome. NFL season, though, we've been in full effect. There's been a lot of, and this is, behind the green screen, which y'all don't see here. We be sometimes saying like, damn, bro, I can't believe I said this on the show. I got to confess this. So we kind of were like, you know what? We're going to peel a layer back. We're going to drop some more NFL confessions. Things maybe we saw that we were like, okay, I got to admit, I didn't see this coming, or maybe this grew on me or something like that. Jay, what's your confess of this NFL season so far?
I definitely did not see Sam Darnold proving that he can do it throughout the whole season. I definitely thought this train is going to derail right around maybe week 6 or 7, and the Vikings are going to end up just tanking, and they kind of tease their fans once again, and we're going to see the NFC, who I thought Giants just rise to the top on their own, be it the Lions and the Packers, but the Vikings have really proved that they can play with anybody. Now, there have been a couple questionable games by Darnold, but those games weren't lost because of Darnold. The defense kept them around, and they're really like nobody was really making any plays. So I kind of really like the fact that like Darnold's withstanded this test of time where the Vikings seem like, hey, why not us? Like, we got a legitimate shot. Yeah, everybody's talking about the Lions running away with this, but they got, the Lions are playing with all the stress on their shoulders right now. You are 1 quarter away from going to the Super Bowl. By far, you look like the best team in football right now. All eyes on you. You better get the job done. Sam Darnold and Judders are there like, hi guys, we're still here competing. We're 9-3 and nobody's talking about us, and we love it. And kudos to Sam because he needed this. Because I really wanted to see that guy at least have 1 year where he proved that, hey, I can play quarterback in this league, and I think we finally saw it this year.
There was a confession John told me off the record, but I'm going to say it here. So I told y'all the 1 week he missed because he was partying with Juan Soto. It wasn't the truth. He was actually partying with Jerry Jones. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put that out there, bro. He was with Jerry Jones. That's the confession. Yeah. It was John. It was Jerry, Mike Tyson, Logan Paul. They were all hanging out at Jerry's world. That was why John missed that.
All 7 years.
Yeah.
Just partying all cheeks top.
Had a bunch of Tigers.
But no, seriously, John, what's your confession now?
My confession is that Brock Purdy is an elite quarterback in the league. I have never
grew on him.
I've never given that kid credit. I've never thought that of him until I've watched him absolutely piece together a season where if he's not there, I think the Niners have maybe 1 win, and that's being gracious for them. So he has taken a step up. He has leveled his game up, and he is a top 3 quarterback in the league right now. And there is no one that can tell me anything otherwise. I have given him a lot of shit because of the players he has around him. Obviously, CMC, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, and you got that great offensive line. Of course, you could put anybody back there. but he has done it this year and has been the reason why the Niners are still in a. What are you looking at me like that for?
Top 3.
Top 3.
Better than Josh.
It's confessional.
100%.
Better than Josh Allen.
He's made a Super Bowl. And he's made an NFC Championship game more than once. Like
in a very non-competitive NFC conference.
It doesn't matter, Jamie. He still makes it.
He has less big quarterbacks that he has to contend against.
Josh doesn't play against the quarterback. He plays against the defense. Why does everyone say that? He is not playing against the. He is not
playing against.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't, because the quarterback forces you to have to go back out there and get the job done again. Purdy doesn't have that. Purdy doesn't have quarterbacks that force him to go out there and get the job done again on the next.
He is not playing against the quarterback. He's playing against the defense.
He is playing against the quarterback, because if you're playing against an inept player,
I didn't know Josh Allen was playing safety. My bad.
No, you're looking at it too literally. Okay,
that is literal. Like I hate that shit. It's not. It is literal though, because Brock Purdy is not on the field for that. He is not on the field to play against the defense. He is not there. It's not Jalen Hurts playing in the safety position. He's playing against Jalen Hurts. It's okay. Yeah, they're playing. Their teams are playing each other. I have to look at it literally, because he is playing their defense. Josh Allen has not performed against other teams' defenses. It's not like Patrick Mahomes is sitting there like cover 2 defense into the safety position, grabbing the interceptions. No, Josh Allen's making those mistakes against the Chiefs' defense, which is top.
Which every freaking team in the NFL makes those.
Correct.
Okay, so you can't give Josh Allen.
But you have to.
Every single quarterback has done it for the last 5 years, other than Tom Brady. How come Josh Allen is getting all this criticism?
What do you mean every quarterback has done it? What do you mean?
Every fucking team has lost to Kansas City in the playoffs except Tom Brady. So, and the Bengals, yeah, they won.
I'm going to say the Bengals lost. Joe Burrow beat the Chiefs.
Huh?
Joe Burrow beat the Chiefs.
So the defense didn't beat Mahomes. So now you're counter-arguing your own point.
No,
because the defense didn't play and beat Mahomes.
I said Joe Burrow beat the Chiefs.
Okay.
He didn't beat Mahomes.
I didn't say he didn't beat Mahomes. I'm not counter-arguing my point at all. I'm literally saying Joe Burrow beat that team. And the reason why Joe Burrow beat the team is because he ran for a 15-yard penalty and then got hit out of bounds off a dumb play from a rookie defender. I don't know what you're not getting is the fact that Joe Burrow is playing against the Chiefs defense. Josh Allen's playing against the Chiefs defense. So Patrick Mahomes, yes, is a critical part of the Chiefs team, but he is not playing defense against Josh Allen. Josh Allen's playing against their defense. Patrick Mahomes sitting there and saying, "Oh, stop it, come on!" Like he's just doing that on the sideline. Like he's not playing their defense, dude. So like I'm saying, if I'm putting Brock Purdy above Josh Allen as a top 2 quarterback, Patrick Mahomes obviously is number 1 for me because of what he's doing on the field. But if the Chiefs defense does not step up the way they are, the Chiefs are not 11-1.
So then Purdy's 2 then. If Mahomes is 1, Purdy's 2 because they played in the Super Bowl last year.
Yes.
All right.
And Purdy did not look bad in the Super Bowl last year.
So the year before, Mahomes 1, Hurts 2.
No, because Hurts wasn't in the Super Bowl the year before, was he?
Yeah.
Was he? Was it 3 years ago? That was 3 years ago.
It was 2.
Was it 2 or 3?
Remember, the Chiefs are going for 3 right now.
Oh, that's right. It was 2.
Yeah,
I mean, Jalen, I don't know because it was tough because I didn't put him in the top 5. I didn't put him top.
Wasn't he the best player on the field in that Super Bowl? How is he not?
He had the best game. Yes, 100%.
So then Jalen's number 2. So then, whoever goes to the Super Bowl, a quarterback 1 and 2.
That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying from track record.
For the last 2 years, it is.
That's not what I'm saying, though. I'm saying track record over the last 4 or 5 years. That's what I was saying. And you're saying over the Super Bowl. I've said he's made it to a Super Bowl. Josh Allen has won 1 game in the postseason. 1. Okay, so like that's my point. Birdie's won more. I get it's against inferior opponents. He's still won in the NFL. The NFL is still got the 1% of 1%. So I don't give a shit. What you say to me is if you're in the playoffs, you're a great team in the NFL at that point because you're in the playoffs. We've seen it before. Anybody can make it. Look at this fucking team. They made it to the Super Bowl and beat Tom Brady. Undefeated team. Twice. So don't give me that shit that, they didn't in the playoffs. They're playing inferior opponents. There, I gave you credit. Now, sorry.
Mike, are you ready to confess about Eli Manning?
Just because we did it doesn't mean you gotta hit me. No.
Are you ready to confess about Eli Manning, Mike? Is that what your confession is?
No, that is not my confession.
I guess I'm just fighting everyone tonight. Mike, you're next.
Okay.
He bruised his chest.
What topics do we have left?
Mike's confessing to getting him CPR.
Well, I'll confess when I have breath back in my lungs. But no, I as soon as this topic came up when planning this, I immediately knew what I had to confess to here. Boy, oh boy, was I wrong about the New York Jets.
Yeah.
I had them winning the division.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I was very wrong, and to all of you other AFC East teams, I am sorry because I vastly overestimated both the offense and defense, especially the defense. Like the offense, even like if you had told me they were going to get Devontae Adams, I would have been even higher on the offense. But it was the defense. Also, as a side note, I also picked Sauce Gardner as my defensive player of the year. I was very wrong about that.
Hey, Trey, go ahead and tell
This
him
is not
why
your
you never
year.
picked.
This is
Tell him why
as
you
far as
never
the
picked
Jets
anybody
go,
outside of Pennsylvania to win Defensive Player of the Year anymore.
No, I mean, TJ watched Defensive Player of the Year every year until.
Yeah, but TJ should have won it last year.
Oh no, 100% TJ should have won it last year.
Miles is a great defender, but TJ's just 100%
I wasn't even
deserves
talking
that.
about Miles. Don't forget about Trey Hendrickson.
Oh,
Leading the NFL in sacks.
Didn't help last week, but I give it
No, it did not. But yeah, I was. That's my absolute confession. Is I was.
These are my confessions.
So wrong about the Jets.
All right, Trey. What is your
Yeah,
confession?
what do you got?
What are you confessing? To absolutely
Embarrassed.
motherfucking nothing.
I apologize.
Embarrassed. The reason this topic came up, I was sitting there Sunday, it's afternoon, watching. No, it was afternoon. It was afternoon. I was watching the game, and I was like, damn, I feel like I'm watching a lot of this person play. It's actually been kind of enjoyable. Damn, the Baker man's actually been enjoyable this year.
Oh my God!
I was like, these Bucks.
Wait, hold on. Say that again.
The Baker man's actually been enjoyable this year. Bucks football was like, Bucks are on. Let me go ahead and see what they're doing right now.
Oh my God. Make that a remix. Baker man is enjoyable.
I was like shocked. I mean, I had Mike Evans in fantasy and I had Bucky Irvin in fantasy, so I was
That's
a
why.
little more careful. But I was watching, I'm like, damn, Baker got hurt again. And limps out, comes back in, throws a touchdown. I was like, all right, give him credit. Then he comes back the next game, does the same thing. After a while, I'm like, shit, guy's kind of actually been enjoyable. Still an asshole for putting his flag in the middle of the 50-yard line of Ohio State. Still fuck that guy for that. But I must confess, I have actually enjoyed watching him play football this year. And I am, as a Steelers fan, I am glad to say, at least I didn't have to say that while he was in the Cleveland Browns uniform. So that is my NFL confession for this week. Yeah.
And gentlemen, these are our confessions.
So, yeah, that was a deep confession. That was hard.
Yeah, I was some backup.
Not getting that. That was hard for us, but you know it's a little bit easy for us. Making some of these picks. Let's get y'all some money. We got some good games this week, and just like before, y'all need to go ahead and lock it in. Jay hasn't been doing his mean locks a week because we've been trying to give y'all all the tea. So we've been going to NFL, we've been spreading it. We were going to college football. What we're going to do this week is we're going to give you a few NFL picks. We're going to look at the Chargers versus the Chiefs. That's a big divisional matchup there. We have the Bills versus the Rams. The Rams are fighting for their life right now. We have the Seahawks and Cardinals, divisional matchup. One of these two teams are probably going to be very much fighting for their playoff life as the other team is maybe possibly eliminated here. And then we have the Vikings and Falcons. The return of Kirk Cousins. The return of Kirk Chains.
Turn of the non-Mac.
So we'll go back around the table like we were doing before. Mike will go. John will go. Jay will go. I'll go. Let's start it. Chargers versus Chiefs.
Chiefs 31, Chargers 14.
Chargers 28, Chiefs 14.
Chargers 20, Chiefs 19.
Chiefs 24, Chargers 23. Let's go with the Bills. Let's go with the Rams.
Bills 38, Rams 10.
Yeah, Bills are playing the best football right now in the NFL, and especially because they can put 40 points up against San Fran with 6 feet of snow on the ground. They're going to absolutely rout the Rams. It's going to be a 42-10 5-3 win.
I mean, even though the Rams were playing the Saints last week, offenses could not do shit. I can't base this off of how they played against the Saints. But
Stafford's also questionable.
Yeah, with Stafford being questionable, this game would get out of hand pretty early. So granted that he's not on the field, this is going to be like a 24-point Bills win. So, I mean, Bills 31, Rams 7.
Upset alert. The Rams are going to come through. Reason being, the Bills are coming off the high. In this type of game where maybe you let it down, the Rams are going to be playing desperate. And I think they'll actually sneak this out. Rams 27, Bills 23. Let's go with the Seahawks versus the Cardinals.
Seahawks 27, Cardinals 24.
Cardinals are the sneakiest team in football right now. Cardinals 35, Seahawks 14.
This is Kyler Murray's bogey team. He cannot produce against his team, but he won't need to. It's going to be a boring-ass game, though. Cardinals 16, Seahawks 13.
Kyler comes through. Cardinals 23, Seahawks 21. Lastly, the return of Kirk O'Chains. Vikings versus the Falcons.
Vikings 28, Falcons 7.
Falcons 35. Vikings, sorry, I forgot the team. Vikings 34.
Close one. I like that. Last week I told y'all, they're not the Falcons, they're the Falcons. These are con men. Don't trust them. Don't freaking pick them. Your lock of the week, once again, ladies and gentlemen, is taking the Vikings to cover this week. Vikings 24, Falcons 13.
You said the score this time. That's good.
The Vikings 26, Falcons 23. Make sure y'all lock some of those in. Jay gave y'all a little bonus lock of the week there. Get some money. Christmas time is coming. I know y'all spent a lot of money on that Thanksgiving dinner. We got to get these pockets back fast. So definitely go in, lock in some of those bets. Get some of this money. Now, earlier this week, I was reading something. It was on TMZ, and they were talking about, I guess, O.J. Simpson's bodyguard. Maybe he has some tape of him confessing to the murder and all those type of things. And it kind of got us talking because a long time ago, Jay and Mike bring up this game about the glove and does it fit? And should we acquit? It always just brought me back to OJ. So, Jay, take us away. What are we doing here with the glove?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a game Mikey and I kind of thought about where we figured if you don't really fit in terms of you were supposed to be a great addition for a team, or maybe somebody came on board a coaching staff, or perhaps somebody didn't work out, you say, well, that person must be acquitted, meaning we must allow them to walk. So, ladies and gentlemen, if the glove does not fit,
you must equit.
So take it away, Trey. What are we exactly going to be talking about now?
Okay, so we're talking about new additions for teams. We're going to use the NHL or NBA, and we're going to say, does this person fit the new addition, or does the glove not fit? Is this not a good pick for this team? So they have maybe looked elsewhere. Mike, take us away. Does the glove fit or does it not fit? Who you got?
So, take it to the ice, take it to the NHL, and possibly one of the biggest and strangest additions of the offseason. Gentlemen, does the glove fit for Steven Stamkos in Nashville?
I mean, never. I mean, he should have retired to Lightning. No matter how good of a season he'll be having. I mean, I think he's having an okay year this year, but it's just I've seen him 3 times in that uniform. Once in person, and then once, on the comeback to Tampa. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, and then you sign a guy like, Jake Gensel to the same contract extension. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And if Yzerman was still the GM of the Lightning, he would have retired to Lightning. It's just, it's sad, in my opinion, because the NHL is notorious for this. So same with the MLB. We're starting to get more notorious with teams not sticking to players that have been there for a long time. And it's not like he wasn't producing. He had almost a 100-point season last year. So it's not like he wasn't producing at a high level. And you take him off, and you saw the after effect where the Lightning don't look – we were in person. They don't look as effective on that power play. Jake Gensel on that power play does not look effective. And Kucherov is now shadowed a lot more on the power play because they don't have a guy on the other side that can rip it from the low circle. So It's never fit. It'll never fit for me. No matter how long, he'll always be the captain of the Lightning. And nah.
Glove doesn't fit.
For yeah, I was gonna say for me, some people just are supposed to stay in the same place. It's like if you just, and I get they offer the money, fine, whatever. But some people are supposed to stay in the same place. Like Derek Jeter is supposed to just play for the Yankees. I mean, there's certain guys where it doesn't. Kobe was supposed to always play for the Lakers. There's certain guys because of what they mean to their franchise. The value is invaluable, and that would be one of those guys who his worth to that franchise and what that means to that franchise is worth a lot more than. I mean, it's like you remember those pictures you see with Joe Montana. He's in a fucking Rams jersey. That's what I feel like looking at him. Like, it doesn't look right with seeing this guy now in the Lightning uniform. So to me, that glove it's real loose. It's baggy.
It's not even like the other thing is like it's not even like the Lightning are bad too, right? Usually players that are of that caliber end up leaving for a team. The Lightning are still like Stanley Cup favorites. Still, like they're still up there where they could win a Stanley Cup right now. So when he left, I was just very confused. That's where you usually see a player leave. So I don't know.
And when you still have a goalie that can allow you to get away with maybe not having a great game, you can keep it close, especially in the playoffs. You know, Bassey's a different guy in the playoffs. It didn't really look so last season. So there had been concerns, some injury concerns. But just like John said, like, why blow it up now? I can understand it. Just like, look, the guy has maybe a year left. Let's see if we can send him off. You know, it's not going to happen here in Tampa. Perhaps give him a shot here. Maybe he can ride out in the sunset like all athletes want to, you know, get up on that horse and, I left hoisting that Stanley Cup and I had a great career. But it's not like he's even in the twilight of his career. He's playing great hockey still. Why are you going to let your captain walk? I mean, we went to a Lightning game recently and it's just not the same.
Not the same with
It's not the same. So the glove does not fit.
Mikey?
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys. This from the onset the glove has not fit it for both sides. It really is for both sides. The Lightning don't look or feel the same without him, and he doesn't look right in the jersey, and he doesn't. Even his play, he's having an okay season, but his play doesn't feel right in Nashville. Like, maybe it's because we're so used to seeing him play with like a set group of guys with Tampa, but it's just like,
well, it's chemistry. Chemistry's the biggest thing in hockey. If you don't have chemistry, when you have to rebuild that chemistry with your team, and it's also feel. Like, I remember there'd be some arenas where I just did not play well, and I think notoriously he does not play well in Nashville. So there's just some. It's just
not right.
It's just a feeling, right?
Yeah,
like when you're a player, there's some places where you just don't play right, and that could be one of the places.
Yeah, for sure.
Jay, whose glove we got?
All right, gentlemen. You mentioned it a couple weeks ago. We've been talking about it. It seems as though they were way too fast to just pull the rug from under what seemed to be a really good, in fact, one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. And I'm talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves panicking and thinking that they had to make a huge move so they can get over that hump and beat, whether it's the Nuggets or whether it's the Suns or whether it's Dallas or whoever's starting their way to get to an NBA Finals. And they just threw away the best shooting center in basketball by far, which is what that team needs. He may have been a defensive liability, but you have the so-called defensive player of the year. And you bring in Julius Randle. So, guys, given what you've seen so far, Timberwolves aren't even in the playoffs right now. Does the glove fit with Julius Randle in Minnesota?
Oh, absolutely not. The glove theory doesn't fit there because they've taken a step back. I mean, on the other end, the Knicks actually have one of the top 5 offenses in the NBA, which is weird for a Thibs team. So I guess shout out to them for being able to get that, But they seem to be figuring it out. And it's like, if you get that close to the finals, you at least got to run it back. Maybe make a couple minor moves, a couple minor. When you do that, that's basically an entire overall. That's the type of move you do when your team keeps flaming out early. So if you were like the Clippers, you keep going out in the first, second round. But if you're that team, you got that young guy in Anthony Edwards, and Cat's not. I mean, he's kind of right around his prime age. So I mean, at that point, I would have ran it back. Rudy's for the most part healthy. I don't see why not run it back. Maybe find some more minutes for Niles Reed and think about it. I mean, they added what's got Dillingham and all these and they don't even play him. So I mean, I don't get what the hell the Timberwolves are doing out there. I have not been feeling this at all. John, what about you?
I like the fit of Julius Randle in Minnesota. I've always said that, but they traded the wrong guy. They should have traded Rudy Gobert to the Knicks and kept Cat on that team. Cat was their draft pick. Rudy Gobert, they almost did what Utah did for Rudy Gobert and Donovan. They're now suffering that. And I think Minnesota's now going to suffer because there's only so much Anthony Edwards can do. I think Julius Randle is a good three-pointing center, but I don't think he's Cat. He's not. And if he would have shifted better if Cat became the 4 and Julius became the 5. Because if you notice last year, Julius actually played the 5 really well in the playoffs and was able to defend really the paint better when he was playing the 5. And then what his danger is, he could step out and shoot, right? But he's not like Cat, where Cat won a 3-point contest. Cat is a 7 foot tall, right? You traded the wrong guy. And we said this when it happened. I think they traded the wrong guy because Rudy has been a shell of himself. At the end of the day, he's been a shell of himself. So I think it was the wrong move. I think right player, wrong move. I think Julius does fit that nucleus pretty well. I think it would just take time. I think we're looking way too early in the season right now because it's an 82-game season. We still got another 6 months to go.
Yeah,
so
25% of the year.
Right. So I mean, like, chemistry takes time in NBA just like it does in the NHL. So I want to see how the second half works, but I just think it's the wrong player they traded for. I think they should have put Rudy in New York, but I don't know if New York would have taken that trade.
That's the thing with New York have taken it because
it would have taken a lot more guys at least.
Yeah, I don't know if New York would have wanted Rudy. And the thing is, I think Rudy actually would have fit with them too because you had lost Isaiah Hartenstein, those guys. I think it would have still fit, but it seems to be starting to work for New York. So I mean, that's fine. I know Mike's kind of somewhat a Halliburton fan, but kind of a New York Knicks fan. So I mean, I know you got thoughts on the trade, but how do you feel about it from the Minnesota perspective?
No, for sure. I think that's absolutely right that I would have moved Rudy instead because from my perception of them, especially even last year, yes, Cat was not as good of a defender as Rudy, but Cat is less of a defensive liability than Rudy is an offensive liability. As I don't trust Rudy Gobert. I've never trusted Rudy Gobert to go get me a bucket. Cat can go get me a bucket easy. And yeah, he's not the best defender, but he's not necessarily a slouch in the sense of like I could trust him to in a full game, guard pretty well.
Still 7 foot tall.
He's still 7 foot tall. He's still a big guy.
Each size.
I think if you were to replace Cat with Rudy in this sense, I think Randall fits a lot better. But the way they now have the roster constructed, having traded Cat, he doesn't fit because now you don't have the consistent step-out big man that this offense needs to help out Ant. And I loved them getting Dante DiVincenzo in the deal, but obviously Julius, as far as position to position, was the replacement. And with this team, glove just don't fit.
Well, he's a starter too.
Yeah.
Like DiVincenzo went into his position, Julius went into his position, and it just doesn't fit.
It just doesn't fit.
So we're saying it doesn't fit.
The fucking table.
Quite a loose glove. We're 2 sizes too big. I think.
A little bit loose. John, what glove are we wearing?
So I'm going to go back to the ice, and I'm going to take it to my Detroit Red Wings. Patrick Kane signed a 1-year deal with the Detroit Red Wings, and he's looked okay. Watch him in person play. He looks like he fits okay, but gentlemen, does Patrick Kane fit on the Red Wings?
Nope, Patrick Kane does not fit anywhere except for the Chicago Blackhawks, and I say that as a guy that had him on my team at one point. I loved having Patrick Kane on the Rangers, but it never felt right. It just always seemed like we had rented him for a charity hockey game, and all we had were Rangers jerseys. He's a Blackhawk. He should have stayed a Blackhawk. He should have retired a Blackhawk, along with Jonathan Taves. It just the glove doesn't fit so much that it seems like it was your dad's glove that you just tried to put on one day and it just keeps falling off.
Well, that means there's a whole
Yeah,
Does
it seems
Patrick
like
Kane fit?
Yeah, it seems like in hockey, certain guys just look right in a certain uniform, and he was pretty much tied to Chicago's franchise as the guy that's going to lead them back to the promised land. And the guy was an incredible player for Chicago. Yes, he moved on, and he's going to end up becoming a journeyman once you move on from your original destination. But I haven't watched enough Red Wings hockey to be honest to say whether he fits on the Red Wings, but there's just certain players that don't look right in a uniform. That uniform looks like it don't fit. So just for that sake, looking at him in a Red Wings uniform, hey, not saying that the Red Wings don't have flag jerseys. I've always loved those bright reds. I just don't think he looks right in that. And Detroit and Chicago are freaking rivals. I mean, like, I feel like Detroit and Chicago should hate each other. I don't know if I'd ever want to play for a team where it's like, you're right across the way from me. I can't go play for that team. I know money talks, but nah. It's like the Brett Favre Vikings thing. Like, what the hell were you thinking? The glove doesn't fit.
Yeah, for me, I guess it's one of those things again where certain people it just feels weird to see them in a different uniform. You play like well, I never really like doing it, but like the 2K or the Madden Ultimate Team, and they're like, oh, look at Patrick Mahomes, he's on my Jets. It's like that shit don't look right, bro. And it's kind of the same thing here, where it's like Patrick Kane's supposed to be wearing a Chicago Blackhawks jersey. It just is what it is. I mean, hey, I get it. You got to chase the bag. I'm not mad at him for chasing the bag. Detroit is one of your all-time premier franchises, and normally you would say, hey, this makes sense. But some people are meant to be in certain places, and that's where Patrick Kane is supposed to have been at. When we picture him and you envision him instantly. You say, oh yeah, I see the Blackhawks jersey, and I see the little Native American guy and the Patrick Kane on his chest. That's what I see. John,
I'm gonna go. I'm obviously gonna be a little biased. I love seeing Patrick Kane in the Red Wings jersey. Have been wanting to see him in a Red Wings jersey for my entire life. And if Crosby ever gets there, that now will say no. But yes, he fits the team very well. His chemistry is good. There's a reason why he's the assistant captain. His second season in, he was the assistant captain 3 months into the season. He fits the chemistry. He fits that older know how to win. The Red Wings are just on the cusp of kind of taking the franchise back into the driver's seat where they're going to be starting to take off here. And he fits that type of mold. He understands how to win. And when you're trying to build a franchise like Steve Yzerman's trying to build the Red Wings back to like it was in his heyday, you need guys like that who have won a Stanley Cup, who know how to play in big moments, who know how to play at a very high level to get you there. Now, granted, Dylan Larkin's great and all, but Dylan Larkin hasn't played in big games. Dylan Larkin hasn't been is the captain, and he'll remain the captain probably for the entirety of his career. But I think it's a great fit right now, just based on veteran status. The Blackhawks are in shambles right now. They are not a good team. So it's almost the opposite with Steven Stamkos. Get that guy out of Dodge. Let him go try to help a franchise that's maybe on the cusp line of making a playoff push, and let him go and try to win another cup before he retires here. So I think he fits on the Red Wings just based on veteran leadership and what Yzerman is trying to do with that franchise.
So lastly, we're going to go back to the hardwood. Take a former MVP. He's traveled a lot lately. We got our guy, Russell Westbrook. He is now a Denver Nugget, playing with another MVP in Jokic. So let's see. Does the glove fit? Jay, how are we feeling about the Russell Westbrook fit with Denver?
The glove actually fits. He's not going to do. I mean, there's a very long time ago we concluded that he's never going to be able to give you anything from outside of the arc. So Russell's going to do two things for you. One, he's going to come in and be a spark, right? Even at his age, he's still playing with high energy. I don't think that's ever going to end. The guy's going to come in, and whether the team is coming out flat, he's going to change the energy for the team instantly. But he's starting to compete really well for them. And what he's done is he's accepted who he is right now. That's a backup point guard that needs to come in, bring the ball up, not turn it over by doing anything dumb, which he's cleaned up that part of his game tremendously, and understand that the offense goes through Jokic. So he gets to do what he was doing back in his college days at UCLA. You know what that is? Playing off the ball. Even though he's older, you know what he does really well? He's fast. So that means he's cutting to the rim. He's getting good looks. He's playing smarter basketball because he's playing with someone with one of the highest IQs in basketball history. And I think he fits in Denver just fine. So the glove fits.
Yeah, and that was my biggest. When I was hoping to go first because I wanted to say everything Jay just said and more. And it's even more so now. He has a guy who's just sitting there, basically 7'1", and when he goes up for those acrobatic or when he gets too fast to go for a layup and he misses a layup, he's got Jokic just sitting there going, doop, rebounding point. So he fits. And I said this to Mike the other night. Is like he just fits in Denver. He fits in what they're trying to do. They've lost so much depth that I think he brings that veteran leadership, and I think he wants to win the championship at some point in his career. He wants to get himself over the hump and get that ring. He wants to get himself into the driver's seat for that. So, and he deserves it, right? I mean, we've always said Russell Westbrook is one of the players that we've always said that deserves a ring because he's always been an almost hard worker on every team. And I think that's, the reason why he's been so selfish with the ball his entire career is because at one point he was forced to. He was forced to manhandle the OKC Thunder into the playoffs. I mean, that's just what the name of the game was for him at the time. And I don't think it ever got out of his brain that I have teammates now. I have teammates now. Could you imagine Russell on this new OKC team? Like, that would be wild. I mean, but I don't know if he would fit on that team. He fits better on this team for exactly the reason that he's doing it. He's coming off the bench. He's helping Jokic speed up the game. He's helping Jamal Murray play off the ball, which Jamal Murray is playing great off the ball, where he'll take the ball up a lot more than Jamal, and Jamal will catch and shoot, where you're seeing Jamal get into more of a flow of shooting. You're seeing the team move a little faster. Where we've said about Denver, they're always kind of like lackadaisical moving the ball court. He brings that spark where it's like, hey, we need to go. Let's go. And I think Jokic hates it because, he's probably out of breath by the time like the 4-minute timeout comes around. But it brings that spark and allows Denver to elevate.
Yeah, I agree. The glove fits in this case. And we talk about not only style fit, the style fit works great. He's the veteran leader with that, like said John, with the loss of depth that they've had. He's a veteran leader that's been around the block. He knows what it takes to get to a championship, even though he hasn't won one yet. He knows how hard it is to get there, and he can help. I think he's good to help elevate the new depth of this team. The younger guys that like Christian Brown, who's stepping up. I think he's a good locker room guy as well for them. And unlike the other guys we've brought up in both the NBA and NHL, Russ, we've seen it, this is looking at it from like does he look right jersey, like in a jersey perspective. We've seen Russ in a bunch of different jerseys, so it's not like, even though I obviously I think you think OKC or Houston, depending on how old you are, when you think of Russell Westbrook, at the same time we're not unaccustomed to seeing Russ in different jerseys. It's not as jarring of a change for us. The only thing, from the jersey perspective, the only thing that was a bit jarring for me at the beginning of the season was seeing him wear number 4, because I'm so used to just seeing him wear 0. But yeah, I think Russ fits on this Denver team, and it's going to be interesting to see as the year continues and as the games get more and more important, what all he can bring to the team.
For me, I don't think the glove fits here, actually, because this team is about championships, and I don't think this gets them any closer to the championship. As you have what most people consider the best player in basketball, if not worst case, a top 3 player in basketball. There's going to be a point where Russ is going to say, give me the damn ball, and he's going to be trying to take the ball out of Jokic's hand. That's what always worries me, because that's eventually what Russ does. Russ is always on his good behavior when he first gets to a team. LeBron them loved him when he first got there. He did help get the Wizards close to a playoff run, and that was fine. And remember when he got with the Rockets. That was all cool at first. And they got sick of Russ and he had to go. There's always eventually happens. Eventually, I can see a scenario where him and Jamal Murray start to clash, these type of things. Denver's issue is, A, they lost their depth. B, they lost 3 and D. What does Russ not do? Russ don't play defense like he used to, and he don't shoot threes. When you get to the playoffs, you can run all you want to now, but the game slows up. And when the game slows up, Jokic, what he was really good at was, I'm in the center, I got KCP over here, I got Jeff Green over here, and I'm distributing that ball. What people are going to do when they get to the playoffs, and quote me and remember this, they are going to fall off Russ and say, all right, fuck it, Jokic. We are going to double you and let you kick it out to Russ and see what the hell happens. And that's where you're going to look back and say, oh, shit, I remember this guy can't fucking shoot. So at that point, he's going to need the ball in his hand to be effective. So for me, they needed to figure out the KCP thing, the Bruce Brown thing. Some of these guys like Christian Brown and them, they kind of expect them to step up quicker. It's not stepped up as quick. But we had Jamal Murray the other week talking about, oh, some of these guys, they live in L.A., and they want to hang out in L.A. longer, and it's more than the game of basketball and all this type of shit. See, where I guess I would hope Russ fit was being a leader in that case, and maybe coming in being a vocal leader. So from that perspective, I would say maybe Russ can fit, because it ain't going to be Jamal, clearly. Jokic ain't going to be the vocal leader. So from that perspective, I think it fits. But when it comes to on the court, I think when it gets winning time, this fit ain't gonna work. Once you start to get in there, and they gotta go to OKC, and you say, okay, well somebody gotta take SGA. Well, damn, ain't gonna be Russ. It ain't gonna be Jamal. When you get in there and you say, okay, well somebody gotta go take Devin Booker out. It ain't gonna be Russ. So for me, that was what Denver had before its versatility. And Russ to me ain't gonna give them that when it's winning time. This team is in championship or bust mode, as you have the defending MVP who's trying to work on another MVP. So
maybe that good behavior has hit its boiling point, because in a near 30-point loss this week in New York, after hitting the three, turned around and flicked off the New York Knicks bench. You got fined $35K for that. So perhaps we are witnessing the beginning of the demise.
And I think that's what's coming. I was looking forward to that game versus the Knicks. I get home a little bit later, I turn on, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Then I didn't see the effort there. Then I started flashing myself back and said, oh shit, this always happens to us. It always goes good for the first 30. This shit gets real. So I think it's fit for the first 30, but I don't think in the long run that this is gonna fit. So I mean, you know how Russ is. He's always on edge. He can't help himself, you know. I wish we had Russ here to play our favorite time of the game, because the thing is, Russ would probably try to stump the motherfucker out. Right? And for me, it would be so much fun. But Jay, take us away. It's our favorite time. Stump.
Stop. Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, girls and goblins, and all the good things in between. It's time for Stump the Squad. Thank you guys for being here with us. Remember, like, subscribe, comment. Let us know. If you are great at sports trivia, this is your moment to stump the squad. If you get it right, give yourself +2. If you get it wrong, -2 points. Keep your phones down. Put your laptops away. Trust on your sports brain. We're going to look at our phones only to read the questions here. You promise. So you do the same. John, I know you're looking for a questionnaire. If you have one ready for us.
Yeah, I'm good.
Let's take it
I
away.
have one.
Let's go.
All right. Since I'm going to talk about the jersey I just got Mike, which was Saquon in a Birds jersey. How many yards away is Saquon from, what's his name? Eric Dickerson's record, which is, I'm not going to tell that number because I could give it away because Mr. Math over here. So, and I got to stop kicking the table. So, how many yards away is Saquon? Is it, no, don't touch your phone.
I'm trying not to see your phone, so I'm leaning forward.
606, 605, 616, or 620?
Start over. Just do the last numbers because they're all 6.
6, 5, 16, or 20?
16.
Yeah, 616.
Which means it'll be 20, 150. Yeah, 16.
So, I have successfully stumped the squad, as Mike would say. It is a 606 he's away from.
06. John,
he's away from. I didn't say why. I said how many yards away is he from Eric Dickerson's record, not how many yards he has to break it. In order to break it, he would have to have 607. Right. He needs 606 to tie it at 621.05.
607, the best area code in New York.
Yeah. Gotcha. Jock, you keep score, please.
You guys are -2.
-2 for.
Yeah, I got it. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. So, talked about the NFL teams. So, which NFL team currently holds the longest streak without a playoff win? So, without a longest streak without a playoff win.
Dallas.
A, the Dolphins. B, the Raiders. C, the Commanders. Or D, the Jets.
Without a playoff win, Dolphins.
Yeah, longest streak without a playoff win.
Dolphins.
I'm going to go with the Raiders.
It's on camera.
Yay!
So, all right, Dolphins, and Raiders. This week, I have successfully stumped Trey Day. It is the Miami Dolphins.
Woo!
0-0, -4.
I got it.
Mike, who's next?
Well, I guess we'll keep it in the room. Jay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Okay. Can you guys tell me which one of these NFL teams has not given up 39 touchdowns so far this year?
Giants.
A, the Jags. B, the Cowgirls. C, the Browns. or D, the Titans?
Have not given up 39 touchdowns?
Which one of those 4 teams have not given up 39 touchdowns? Which means 3 of them all have given up 39, but one of them has not given up 39 touchdowns. Defenses.
The Titans.
Yeah, it's the Titans.
I guess I'm misunderstanding.
Okay. Out of these 4 teams.
So which defense has given up the most touchdowns?
No. 3 of these 4 defenses have given up 39 touchdowns exactly. Which one does not fit in there because they have not given up 39 touchdowns?
Basically, they give up the least.
So essentially, who has given up the least amount of touchdowns?
Who's given the least of these 4?
Well, it could be more or less. It doesn't matter. One of them.
Right.
One of them's
You
not
said
tied.
Titans, Jags, Cowboys, and who?
Titans. No, it's Jags, Cowboys, Browns, Titans.
Jaguars.
We have 1 Jags and 2 Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, I have successfully stumped the squad. The Jags, the Titans, and the Cowboys have all given up 39. The Browns have given up 37. Remember, the Browns have also given away 4 pick sixes this year.
I was thinking.
That's on the defensive.
Yeah.
Defense didn't give that up. It's a pick 6.
Makes sense. Okay, what's your scores?
The scores are me and Jay at 0. You and Trey, Mike at -4, and Trey, you're out at -6. So who's up? Trey's, I think, is your question. So I have to get it wrong. Mike has to get it right, and Jamie has to get it wrong.
To have a 3-way tie.
To have a 3-way tie. So
if I'm involved in a tiebreaker, then I have the question. If I'm not, I mean, I should say
you're not involved.
Yeah, if I'm not involved.
You're not involved in the tie.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, let's see. We have. Okay, RIP to the Pac-12 championship.
Cheater, 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 cheater.
I was gonna send Mike my Slim Squad question. Go ahead.
Cheater.
RIP to the Pac-12 championship game. Since we'll be having one of those, this is in honor of them. In honor of the Pac-12 championship game, who has recorded the most rushing yards in a single Pac-12 championship game? Toby Gerhart, LaMichael James, Philip Lindsay, Ronald Jones II.
I'm gonna say LaMichael James.
Yeah, funnily enough, that's the name when you read the question that popped into my head, so I'm gonna say LaMichael James.
Who was D?
Oh, you're gonna
Ronald
copy
Jones
my
II.
answer? Well, we both get it right. You're
Ronald
out.
Jones is second, or I don't know why Toby Gerhart is
Right.
ringing a bell for me right here. God, it's either A or D. I want to go with Gerhart, but I'll go with Jones. D.
Okay, so we have 2 LaMichael James, and we have 1 Ronald Jones. Okay, today I successfully stumped Grandpa J. The answer is LaMichael James.
Let's go.
And it looks like we actually have a winner. The loser guy that's
2 for
missing
2, baby. That's
that
what
somehow
happens when I
won
go
again.
see Mr. Victory in Juan Soto.
I just didn't want to have a tiebreak this week. Congrats.
Yeah,
So, shout out to John. Our winner for Stump Squad, episode 140, is John. Who has our stats right now? What are our current scores right now?
John at 2. No, John at 3. And
Trey at 3.
everyone else at 0.
Mike at 4 and I'm at 5.
Yeah.
No, we are now in a 3-way tie at 3. Mike, John, and Trey, because Jamie took one of my wins.
Yeah,
to our bet, so Jamie's at 6.
Yeah, y'all had the bet.
I thought you went to 5 because we were tied at 4, and you dropped to 4, and I went to 5.
No, you were already 1 up on me, and then we could have flipped. We were either flipping or you were going 2 up on me.
Okay.
Or 3 up on
Well,
me.
ladies and gents, we will roll back the tape. We will make sure that we confirm who exactly is closest to Jay. Right now, Jay is in the lead again. Don't worry, it's only episode 140, so we got time to come back. We're just, setting them up for a great comeback. Hail Mary time is coming. Yeah. Don't worry, I will be avenging myself pretty soon here. But another great episode in the books. We got a lot of football coming up this week, so we will be online. Make sure y'all interact with us. We'll be on Twitter. We'll be on Instagram. We'll be on TikTok. We'll be on Facebook. We might be at the game. Who knows? Just make sure that y'all actually tune in. All of our socials. Cinco Squad Pod 05. Make sure you interact with us. Like, comment, subscribe. Cinco Squad out.